Friends, this is Ganesh. Hope you are doing wonderful. Happy to learn together. In this video, I'm going to explain about SAP Note. So, how to identify or what is the need of SAP Note and how to find SAP Note, especially for your business needs, and how to verify it. Just walk through the SAP Note, whether it has any manual corrections or we can implement as it is, and while implementing what kind of issues may come, how to revert it back. So those kind of things we are going to see in this particular SAP note. Let's get into the slides first. So SAP note, so just have a look on the product. So in SAP they have different modules, so FI, a lot of more different models are there. So we are going to get one particular module and try to understand what is SAP Node and how we can able to proceed further. Okay. So if you take one module, module, so after it gets released, we have a lot of release now. So after it get released, after any release, they may receive some requirement or means SAP may receive some requirement or a bug fix from different customers for a particular business scenario. So then SAP has to provide a solution for that particular fix, or it could be an additional requirement as well, because it's getting from different customers, and SAP also feels okay, this could be one of the business scenario where multiple customers needs it. So initially they have to fix it for the particular customer. Once it's keep on coming, they might think, okay, we can add it in the future release. That is a one way. Another way, they may have add this particular solution as a SAP node. So whoever wants, they don't want to reach SAP directly. They don't want to raise an incident for that kind of a ticket. So it's very urgent. So we need to the solution on it. We don't want to raise an incident, because if it is an incident, then it has to go to the SAP and they have to assign a developer. They have to work on it. Instead, if the solution is known, and this is the common issue is coming from a particular module, so they've just added this particular solution in the form of SAP Note. Okay, so it's like this. There is a module and it has some it needs some fix or it needs some upgrade, whatever it is. So that particular solution has been done for one particular customer, that may be come for other customers also. Then they decide, okay, keep this as a SAP Note. Sometimes what happens, they add this fix in the next release also. Maybe next release may take some time, or client is not ready to go for that release. Then that is that scenario. What they've done is they have done with the SAP Note for a different release also. Okay, so this particular piece they just made as SAP Note. So SAP Note is nothing but a solution for a particular fix or particular business requirement. Okay, so that is the way why the SAP Note in place. Clear? So SAP Note is in the form of it can be a program fix, okay, or it can be a screen level changes, and it can be addition of fields in an existing standard table. Everything I'm talking about standards. It's okay. SAP Note is not for custom. Means custom development. It's only for the standard objects or standard programs. And then there sometimes there may be add some extra message numbers to existing message classes, or it could be an enhancement addition. SAP okay added one additional enhancement addition in a particular standard program or standard business process, or they may be upgrade the existing code by just removing some few lines of code and they are adding in new lines of code. So it could be anything. So SAP Note could be anything. So mostly here I describe mostly of the technical fix. Sometimes there may be a configuration as well. So this is the way inside the SAP Note you may accept these kind of fix. Okay. Then few more thing about SAP Note. So how you have to approach with SAP Note? So if you receive some business requirement or some business need, so you have to identify or understand if it is a standard issue, try to find any solution in the form of SAP Note. Okay, you have to just go to the SAP marketplace and or even Google it. So it will come, okay, these are the relevant SAP Note for this kind of issues. Okay, and then you have to download the SAP Note for your version. So the second point, you need a pre-request. You need a yes user ID. Okay, so you can't just like that go and download a SAP Note. You need a yes user ID. Sometimes that can be done from basis level. Suppose like if you don't have a user ID, they may download it for you. If you have a user ID, yes, you can go and download it. Most of the SAP node you have authorization in S user ID only for the product level of you want to download any software, you don't have authorization. So even if you have S user ID, you don't have authorization, please check with your security or SAP business or basis people. They will help to download your particular version of particular SAP node on the particular system, and make sure all the dependent SAP nodes also in place or downloaded. Okay, so sometimes what happens, it's not only one node can give a solution for your fix, it can be multiple nodes. So that's what I'm saying is a dependent nodes. Okay, so node 1 can have 3 SAP nodes. Maybe the last node we have one more dependent SAP node, so there may be a chance. Sometimes it's a direct, it's straightforward. Okay, and the one good thing is you don't want to download separately all the dependent nodes. Once you have a main SAP node, it will automatically download. Once you download, it will list all the dependent nodes as well. This is also required for your fix. So if you download it, it will download the dependent also, but make sure yes, you have all the nodes downloaded perfectly. Sometimes you might have an issue while downloading, authorization issue, or the node is not relevant for your version, so it shows not able to download. Sometimes the node is an information node. If it is an information node, you don't want to download it, you can't download it. There are some issues might happen maybe in the initial phase. So once you are familiar with the SAP node, then it's very simple for you. And clarify if there is any manual correction required. That is one of the important point. Very few nodes need a manual corrections. Okay, so manual correction means, for example, there are two messages to be added manually. So it's not SAP is not going to add a directly, means automatically. So you have to go to the particular transaction, you have to follow the steps which they mentioned in the note. It's called manual correction. So go to SE91, go to this message class, then add this message number. Even they give message number also. Sometimes they will say go to enhancement spot, add this enhancement spot manually. So there may be a chance, but it's very few, maybe a chance of manual correction in any of your SAP node. It's not only the direct one. So any SAP node, it can be means any dependent node also can have a manual correction. Make sure. Okay, even if it is not aware, while implementing a node, you will get a pop-up message saying please confirm the manual correction has been done before executing the main SAP node. Okay, you'll get a checkbox. So once you give a checkbox, then only it will proceed. So you come to know, okay, there is a manual correction either in the main SAP node or in the dependent SAP node as well. And implement the SAP node on the order. That is very important. If you have a dependent, so make sure all the dependents are in place, then you have to go to the main node. It's very basic thing, because suppose the dependent node has one object and the main node is going to be update that particular object, but the creation happens in the dependent node. So without running the dependent, if you start running the main one, you will get a syntax, or it's a kind of syntax that I can say, saying that this object is not available. But don't worry about much. Once you start running the main SAP node, it gives all the dependent nodes as well. Make sure you have run it properly. Okay, and if all done, you have option to change the processing status manually. That you have to do manual, like this SAP node implementation is completed, otherwise it shows in the in process status. So for the business, you have to make sure this is done perfectly. Once it is done, you have to manually change the processing status also. Apart from this, you need one important thing for SAP node is patience. Okay, especially in the initial stage, you need a more patience to upload or implement a SAP node. If it is a one or two, it's very simple. If it is more than like 10 SAP nodes, lot of dependents, one or two manual corrections, yes, you need a patience. Always maintain an Excel. Make sure all the SAP nodes are implemented, all the dependents are implemented, all the manual corrections are taken care. Okay, otherwise it's very difficult to identify why it is not working. Then you have to revert it back all the SAP nodes again, you have to do from the scratch. Okay, so better make sure everything in place, everything in order as well. The transaction is S node, probably you might have heard of it. So to just view the node, to download it, to implement it, everything is happening in a transaction called S node. Yeah, this is the what I mentioned about the dependent SAP node. So this is my main node. It has three dependent nodes. Okay. And the last node has two dependent nodes. And this last node has two other dependent nodes. And one of the dependent node has manual corrections. So make sure you are doing this first, and then this nodes, and this, and then this one, the main one. Okay. So if you have a node with a hierarchy, yes, you have to make sure this has been done in a proper order to make sure you're not getting any error while implementing, or after implementing, make sure it is the business solution is works. Okay. So that's what I need. I'm saying you need a little patience while doing a SAP node implementation. Yeah, that's it. Let's go to the system. And this is my system. So let's go to S node transaction. So here you're going to download whatever. You're not download, you're going to do everything about S node only in this transaction. Okay. So if you, there are some folders like new, in process and everything, depends on the node status. But in this just a rental system, we have very few only. And this has only new two SAP nodes has been downloaded. The first thing is, okay, I want to explore whether this node, because how to find a S node, either Google it or go to SAP Marketplace, just write a solution, you will get it. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. Let me show you some SAP node in the marketplace, SAP Marketplace level. So before coming to the SAP S node, okay. So make sure you have S user ID. You may have a local account, you might create it for some like SAP Cloud. You may use it, but you don't have a proper authorization for that. Okay, if you have S user ID, yes, you are able to see, at least download to understand what is that SAP node. Okay, let's just go through a few SAP nodes for some business scenario, how it look like in the marketplace. Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to say determination. Analysis is not working in SAP. So just forget about my spellings. Okay. So it shows program termination, or maybe I can choose this. Some issues and everything. I may say I need SAP note. I'm sorry, not termination, determination. Analysis, right? Okay, this one. Okay, so they mentioned some nodes like 258432. Probably we have to understand whether it will work or not. So now we have to go to the SAP, like it's coming under support and knowledge. So I have to go to sap.com. So make sure you have a user ID. So I have already logged in. Yeah, so here if you see, these are the things, it's relevant, and then relevant nodes are available. So you have to just check it out. So it will give proper details. It's saying that what is the symptoms of the particular business issue or business scenario, and what are the environment it might cause. Okay, so because we have ECC HANA, we have CRM and everything. So what may be the environment this might cause? So they mentioned MM, probably it's MM module. And how to reproducing the issue, they may give a steps over here. So go here and then this click data managers, and you might get some information. So these are some from SAP, so for easy reference. So cause is a standard behavior. What's the resolution on it? Okay, so since only works, purchase document, these are some little business oriented. So I want to just make sure these are the things on you have to go through it. Okay, and there may be some other dependent nodes also. So you have to down, and what may be, sometimes they just give what could be the reason and what going to be the change. Okay, so they mention those as well, and which object it's related to. So these are the things, and they mention see also this node. Okay, So if you click, that might take you to that particular node and you have to go through that. So that's what I'm saying. You need more patience to understand the business scenario as well as your SAP nodes sequence. Okay, so that is very important. Then so keywords, they mentioned these are the keywords where it might occur. So these are the additional informations for us. Okay, and so these are the documents which we have to refer. Okay, languages, and that's it. So this is the way you have to understand and go through the, yeah, you have to understand and go through the note for your reference. Okay, so before download it. So now get into the system. Okay, so if you are in a rental system, normally you don't have the RFC connection, because if you want to download it from a system, it needs to be connected to the SAP where they have mentioned from which system you're able to download it. So that RFC connection might not available. So don't worry if you're in a rental system, but if you're on a your client or a customer proper system, yes, you have an option. Okay, so 1 minute. Then go to SAP Node browser, or you can say go to SAP Node browser. So here you have to type which node you want to download. So mine is 25.84322 and execute. So it shows unable to find SAP node that meets the specified criteria. So what I have to do was, means once it's downloaded, yeah, it's once it is downloaded, then you have to come here. Otherwise, what I have to do is, okay, go here, go to, okay, go back, go to download SAP node. So here you have to mention 2584322. Enter and continue. This is a way how to download it. Okay. So error in remote connection to destination. This is the common error because what I mentioned is it's a rental system, so you don't have a proper authorization to reach the particular system. So don't worry about it. So once it is, you have authorization, you have RFC connection. Yes, it's downloaded and listed here. SAP nodes new that listed in this particular area. In real time, you'll get a lot of nodes because the people used to download for their own business needs. So once this is downloaded, so just double click, it take you to the notes page. So this is the very important page where you can get everything. Okay, so what is a node? Whatever you have seen in SAP marketplace, the same information is going to be displayed here also. So they mention what is the node number, what is the version, and this is very important. Let's see, implemented statuses cannot be implemented, meaning depends on your version, this node is not relevant to implement. If it says cannot be implemented, done, you're not able to move further. But the backend information is this node, whatever corrections available in this node is already available in your system. Mostly you may have a higher version of it. This node is a very lower version, but it's already available in your system through a service package or through upgrade option. Okay, so you don't worry much about it. It cannot be implemented, it's already there. Okay, then you need to find out some other node which is relevant for your business issue. So these are very common things which happens once you start working with SAP node. And they will give a long text. What is the symptoms? So why symptoms is what is the issue actually. So they mention very clearly, and then they will give us solutions also. So what is a reason and what is a prerequisite. Sometimes they mention some prerequisite notes also over here. So these are the prerequisite notes. You have to download it and you have to implement this first. Okay, and then solutions. And the solutions, they may give the manual corrections. If there is any manual correction, they will give the corrections also over here. So go to this transaction, open this program and everything. Okay, so this is very important. What is the component valid release for this node? Okay, that's what you have to mention very clearly, the version of your SAP node. So this is 773 SAP basis component. So it's maybe from here or from the above versions it might work, not the lower versions. So you need to identify what is your system version, the SAP basis component. Okay, so here SAP basis 754 is the release, and what is they mentioned? It's 773. So it's for the higher release. So it's not been applicable, or it cannot be implemented here. Okay. So the particular node I'm saying. So you have to find a relevant node and some other relevant node which is applicable for your versions. And if you take the another one, what happened? Okay, give me a minute. Okay, it's connected now. S node new. So unfortunately, I have to run with only these two node here. So you get this kind of information. Sometimes you'll get a correction. So here you can see correction instruction. These are called correction instructions, and they will mention very clearly what is the release offered. So 75A to 75D for SAP ABAP release. Let's see what's the status of this system for SAP ABAP. It's 75E. Okay, so this is not applicable because it's 75D is max, right? Yeah, 75A to 75D is not for 75E. So it's not applicable, but just go through it. And they'll mention clearly what is going to be done. So if you double click the correction instruction, so they mention what are the release, what is the valid range and everything. And here they mention the report. This report is going to be changed, depends on this particular SAP node. This is object type. Sometimes it may be a class or a function module. This is expanded. They mention clearly is a change to source code. So what is going to be changed after implementing this SAP node? You can make sure, yeah, this is going to be done. It's a confirmation also. Once SAP node is implemented, you can go and verify, yes, whether this line gets deleted from this program, and this is going to be it's going to be added in this program. Okay, so these are going to be added once you start executing this SAP nodes. Okay, we'll do that as well. And the second correction instruction, they mentioned there are 4 different objects. So just go here, you can able to identify. So what is going to happen? So some insert and delete is going to happen. Modify the screens. Okay, so you can see this is actually added in the first one. This is actually removed in the second one. So don't worry about that. So this is the program, and this is the module. Could be relevant to the screen painter because it's a PBO module, and there they're going to add the informations. Okay, so this make sure what you're going to do, you have to understand, you have to do it. So don't do simply implement it. Okay, and the better practice is make sure what are the objects are getting affected. If any major issues happens, you'll get an idea what are the objects could be the issues, could be the reason, which one you want to revert it back. Okay, so everything is clear, you're fine to implement now. Then go back, or you can just do it here itself. Just a double click. So here itself you have an option to implement the node, and this is going to be revert the node. Once you are implement the node, there are some issues or business says no, I don't want this node now. You want to revert it back. It's very simple how we revert the version from production version to a development. Same thing. Come here and just click revert it. Automatically all the additions or all the modifications, whatever happened from what are the objects, is automatically reverted everything. So now I just click continue, implement. So, but this saying SAP does not contain a valid correction instruction. That's fine. That's what it's saying. It cannot be implemented. You can't proceed further. But if it is a valid one, what happens? It will show you the some pop-ups. It shows the dependent nodes, and it shows what are the objects to be affected. You have to continue. Then it will ask what is the package, and you have to be activated. Sometimes you have not. Sometimes you have to be activated those objects also. Some scenarios the package is going to be the SAP package because these are standard program changes, so you don't want to specify the package also. They will automatically choose the package, SAP package, and it's proceed continue. Only transport request it will ask which transport these changes to be added. So that is very important. So you should not save it in the local because SAP no changes should be carried forward to the next server quality to production also. It's always to be in transport request. Okay, so once it is done, and if you want, you can revert it back here or go to SAP browser, you can do that. So once these are completed, so you can go to 77132, right? Yeah, so if you see now it shows in processing. because I just clicked the execute button. Okay, so the status is changed to in processing, but technically it should not be in processing because I didn't do anything. It cannot be implemented. I want to make this as a new. Yes, you are able to do that. Those are able to done in SAP browser. So copy this note and go to SAP browser, note executed. So imagine it shows in process. Imagine it says completely implemented. Once everything is done, it shows here is a completely implemented implementation status. And what you can do is, if you want to change the status of processing status as a finished, so here you have an option to change status, set processing status. So here you can say completed, so it shows finished. Okay, but it's not a correct option here because it cannot be implemented shows. So you have to say change to new. So at least the next person, if they want to use the same node, they might know what is the status, current status of this SAP node. Okay, and here is the main place where you can start implementing it. You can revert back your SAP node, or you can say you have to set processing status, change this processing status of the SAP node. So hope this might be useful, and just go through what an SAP node is. Very simple process. Only thing, initial thing is you need some patience to understand what actually this SAP node is going to do. There are very few informations only SAP node who's going to update your system, maybe program corrections or manual corrections or configuration changes, some addition, some table entries can be added. So nothing big thing is going to done in SAP node. What normally we do, it's a corrections in a custom level. It's the program codes or the changes are already available, is going to implement it in your SAP version. Okay, so it's pretty simple, but you need patience and go through everything. Make sure you have a proper Excel before implementing it. Okay. Hope this might be useful. Just go through this. If you have any doubt, please let me know. And thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video. Bye.